Hey guys, Elizabeth Berry here, and I am answering questions from the attendees from my Kind Communication events, and I feel very grateful for doing this. This one's awesome, by the way. How do I show up with compassion to my crazy, weird in-laws? How do I communicate with a father-in-law who only wants to talk about himself, or mother-in-law who barely speaks and is terrible at connecting and communicating? Wow. Whether it's your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, your boss, your lover, your husband, your wife, your best friend, whoever it may be in your life, we all have these situations. So my tips for you is that we cannot change others, right? So how we show up in that moment is so valuable to our personal and professional development. My story here is that when I was in my early 30s, I went through my 20s, I started to be an entrepreneur, and I was like, Mom, Dad, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I was out in, the fields for just a few years, and they were like, what are you doing? You don't know what you're doing. They still don't know what I do. But it was so frustrating for me when I was in my 20s that I was like trying to communicate and connect with them to say, like, aren't you proud of me? I'm on the red carpet of In the Heights and next to NBC, ABC, Fox News, Elizabeth Berry and Associates, and all these other people. They never understood me, and I used to butt heads with them all the time until I found the compassion and the empathy and the idea that I wasn't going to change them, and I just learned this simple tool was to breathe, smile, and sometimes add a nod. Whenever my mom was like, bah, 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 and I was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna explode, and I'm gonna say something not so nice, I learned in my early 20s that the trick to being in front of somebody who you're not communicating with, or is just into themselves, or just not there with you on that same page, is to breathe and to smile and sometimes just nod and not respond at all. We don't have to respond to everything. We're not, wired to do that. The other thing is, I want you to recognize, because my topic is kind communication, that kindness is when we meet people where they are. Like, these people, we're not going to change them. We can't fault them for who they are. They don't have the awareness tools. They're probably old and set in their ways, or older and set in their ways. We're all set in our ways. So unless we're working on all of us are working on our journeys, there's going to be some sort of like mismatch. The best thing to do is to limit your time with them. So you can breathe, smile, nod, and say, oh my goodness, I forgot I have something to do. I gotta mosey on out of here. So limit your time, breathe, smile, and nod, and just recognize that you can't change them, and kindness is meeting people where they're at.